This is the Podcast Basics series, and today we are going to be talking about editing software. Yes. So once you've recorded your episode, someone has to edit it or not. Sometimes you don't, but if you want to add an intro or an outro or any kind of ads, sometimes you do have to edit it. Or even in the case right now where I am doing this particular one in video every Friday, then I do have to maybe cut the beginning out and the ending out because there might be dead air. So you might have to edit that. So today I am going to talk about my two favorite editing platforms that I use on a really consistent basis. So today you're listening to Podcasting for Your Spiritual Business, and my name is Kim Parkinson, and I am not only a podcast growth strategist, but I started in this field. Well, actually, I really started in this field as a TV host well back in the day when I had my own TV show and executive producer back then. But then when I really got into the podcasting world, I was a podcast manager and I did launches. And then I also became a podcast producer where we kind of do a little bit more. Like I talk a little bit more in depth to keep track of stats, things like that, right? So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the editing and how I have edited over the years and the two platforms that I have used and I love and I highly recommend. Now, one of those is free and straightforward, and the other one is a full production platform. Like it will do everything soup to nuts. So it also incorporates a lot of AI into it. And I will say their pricing structure has changed over the years, but I think they're settling on something now. So what am I talking about? I'll talk to you about the first one, and that one's the free one, and that is Audacity. Audacity can be downloaded for free at audacityteam.org. It has been free, I think, since 2000-ish, about there. So it's free, open source. It's been around. Here's the thing. You can use files to go into Audacity, but they only release as WAV files or MP3 files. There's a couple of other files, but those are the ones you would use in podcasting. And those particular files are not going to have a video associated with it. It does not do video editing at this time. Now, there are a couple of other ones that will do video that maybe have a lower tier or free tier that I'm not talking about today specifically. I know one of them is, I believe, Reaper. Another one my son told me about years ago is OpenShot Video Editor. I know that on a PC, Microsoft has something called Clipchamp. I also know that on Apple products, they do have like GarageBand, and there is also like video editor and things like that if you want to go video. So there are other options out there for free editing software or close to free editing software if you wanted to use them. But today I'm just talking about Audacity and Descript because those are the two that I use. So again, Audacity is free and it's open source. It's been around since 2000-ish. Audio only, no video, and it's done via a traditional waveforms. So you add the file in, and then you see all the little wave files come across, and that's how you edit. Now, there's a couple of just little tips here to tell you. There's a couple of buttons in the middle, and you can actually click on those and make the file like be exactly the length of your monitor. And there's also a couple of other pieces that are inside of there. Now you can click on one button and it will silence a whole section. You can get a section of the room and get room noise so that everything is quieter if there was maybe a AC in the background or something like that. So there's some noise reduction. I love Audacity for creating those intros and outros by combining the music with your spoken words, because I can really minimize the music and have it kind of fade in. And then I can have it really minimize and have it all the way through the back of your intro or your outro. And then I can increase the volume and then fade out again, which I love because in Descript doing that is a bear. So I think it's really easy to do inside of Audacity. There is a little bit of a learning curve for Audacity, but because it's free, there's a lot of free knowledge out there too. YouTube, there's a whole bunch of YouTube channels just dedicated to Audacity. You could really dive deep into it if you wanted to. And I do know that in in recent years, they have made it non-destructive. And by non-destructive, it means that when you have deleted a section, if you wanted to, you could go back and find it again. It's still there. It's just kind of like hidden in the background. I don't use it for that. Typically, what I use Audacity for is creating intros and outros with music, combining those two files, and or ads also. And then when I am done editing the main portion of the file, I will then pull it back into Audacity and I'll add in the intro, outro, and any ads that are baked in. That is what I use Audacity for now. But I learned by looking at those WAV files. And the cool thing is, once you know what the word looks like, you can see it everywhere. So it's definitely useful to know what those are if you are interested in just having more knowledge about what you're editing, right? So it's best for audio only podcasters and somebody that has a low budget or zero budget and just needs some simple editing. That's all there is. You can speed up the time on it as you listen. It does have a little bit more of a Mickey Mouse type sound when you do that, but it's okay. As long as you know, and you can still see like mouth noises, clicks, and things like that. And you can minimize them or you can delete them. And it's just drag and drop and then hit the delete button and they're gone, which is nice. So there's a mouth noise for you right there. All right. The other one that I want to talk about is the one that I use for the bulk of my editing. This does the heavy lifting over here at KP Creative Media, and that is Descript. Now, there are all sorts of other platforms out there. Zencastr just came out with their own Descript type platform. Riverside has had that for years and years and years. And then all those other ones that I mentioned before, the OpenShot, the video editing, you can even, I've seen people actually do video editing and audio editing within CapCut even. So there's lots of different, Canva even. There's lots of different places that you can do editing if you have audio and or video. Now, if you're going to use Canva, if you're going to use CapCut, it's probably best that there's a video attached to it. But if you just want to do audio and or video, you can use Descript. I've used Descript for just audio and I've used Descript for just video and a mix of both. The beautiful thing is once you have done the editing with the video, all you have to do is pull down the audio and the audio file is done as well. So Descript is a paid feature and I'll drop my affiliate link down below for you if you are all interested. It's a great feature because it's all transcription based. So yes, you can see the WAV files at the bottom. Yes, you can see the video if it's got video on the right-hand side. And then, yes, there is a transcription that is right there in front of you. So you can read, listen, and watch kind of simultaneously, which I think is amazing because you can make sure that the sound is on point. You can read the transcription so you know what that person might have said or might not have said. And then you can also look at the video to see if there were any jumps in there or if you needed a transition of some type. So there's a couple of different pieces there. Now, when I edit in Descript, I typically do not turn on what they call their studio sound. I am not a big studio sound person, although it does have its reasons and its place in society if you needed it. If you use studio sound, please do us all a favor and make sure that you have changed that from 100% to something like maybe 30, 40, 50, or 60%. Change it. Make sure you listen to it. You don't want to sound like you're underwater. So that's basically what you're doing there. I think I mentioned that in a different video about podcast basics, but I'm reiterating it because I'm on a mission to make sure that we all sound normal and like humans. All right. It does remove filler words automatically. I hate that feature. I still do it all manually. Yes, there is a great feature where you can click the button and Underlord, which is their AI feature, will create this beautiful video for you and have all of these different pieces added in. It takes some of your AI credits. And from what I understand, the AI credits get sucked down pretty quickly. And then it could be something that you're paying for. So beware of that. Maybe you have a tier and your AI credits are fine. And that's great too. But I do use it for video. And the beautiful part is it will add in, it will kind of like normalize the video itself, where like maybe it will check the white background and make sure that the white levels are accurate. Maybe there's something wrong with the bottom and it will create a nice gradient so that it looks nicer. Maybe it will also pop in some names for you. And then you just have to go and kind of drag and drop and make sure that they are accurate to where that particular episode is supposed to be. It also has a built-in screen recorder. You can record directly into Audacity as well. And then it's also great for repurposing. There's like a little button there. It says like AI, and you can do a whole bunch of things. I will tell you, I very rarely use most of them. There's only one button that I ever click, but the rest of them are great if you want to use them. There's one for create thumbnails. There's one for description. There's one for show notes. There's one for different clips and all of that. So you know what? Go ahead and play with it and just see how that works for you and your lifestyle. And, it could be amazing. I use it for a lot of different clients. Well, all my clients, really, all my production clients. So the problem then becomes is it's not really learning my way of talking. It's got a whole bunch of people to learn. So I do keep everybody in their own separate folder, which is nice. And that way, if I need to go back to an old episode, I can. It's right there. I use the Descript version that is on my PC. So if you find that you have a problems with Descript and you're using it on the web, I really highly always recommend to download it onto your PC. You can have it PC or Mac. So that's the other thing. It's great for repurposing. It's great for editing. I use it for most everything. Honestly, it's great for video podcasters, audio podcasters, and both alike. So I use this particular one. I do my bulk of my editing in Descript. I pull that out, and then I put the intro and outro in with Audacity if I need to. Not everybody needs to. And with the use of Captivate, who does intros or outros for me, sometimes I don't even need to do that. So that's a nice thing too. Now, again, head to head here, pricing. Audacity is free. Can't beat that. But if you do video, something like Descript, it is paid. It does have a lot of AI features that it transcribes it for you automatically, which is so nice. It automatically does some normalizing to the audio, which is also super nice. Audacity does do a little bit of normalizing to the video, or I'm sorry, to the audio. But again, it's no video as well. So if you wanted to do both, there's that. There's audio quality for both sides. So it really, you can really hone in. You can actually like select the entire thing and kind of do your own normalizing and making it sound louder or softer. You can do that with the studio sound or in Audacity. There's a whole plethora of different pieces that you can click on, and you can just make that so that the sound of your entire audio is either increased or decreased, depending on what you need. Ease of use. Now, old school people that love the WAV files are going to say, hey, Audacity is where it's at. And it is where it's at if you want to learn more about the WAV files, what they look like and all of that. And if you wanted to kind of learn an old school way, there's nothing wrong with it. Descript, it is transcription based. You can look at the word and you can see the word and then look at it down below in the file. And yeah, okay, that's what that word particularly looks like. If that's interesting to you, I find it fascinating, but not everybody does. And I totally respect that. Just wanted to let you know that if you are at all interested in knowing what the word looks like, you can go and you can find those and then make the changes. Now, as far as ease of use, there are some subtle differences. There are some things that you would have to maybe like learn or figure out. And again, I have a Descript course or whole podcast production course that includes both Audacity and Descript within that. And you can definitely take a look and see if that's something that interests you. I'll leave the link for that down below. There are learning curves to both of them, but if you are looking to do editing in-house and not have someone else do it for you, both of them are easy to use. There's no difficulties with either one. It's just a little bit of a learning curve, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Even if you were to go and use something like Zencaster or OpenShot or what are the other ones I mentioned, CapCut, any of that, there are learning curves for all of those. And I've even noticed that if you have longer episodes, sometimes using something like Canva doesn't work because there's just not enough bandwidth for that to happen. And then bloop, it sends your audio out or sends out your video, and then you have to start all over again. And that is frustrating. So stick with something that is used and meant for that. If you have, especially if you have longer episodes, and I'm talking maybe even 25, 30-minute episodes. Audio only, you can get away with using Audacity. If you like to be able to see the words, go ahead and give Descript a try. And if you're doing video, you'll need to use something like Descript or some other platform that offers video editing. And then when your video is edited, then you just download not only the video, but you also download the audio, and then you've got both files, best of both worlds. So if you wanted to upload to YouTube or Spotify or maybe Substack, you could do that, and then you would have the video for that. I'm not necessarily condoning video. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that I'm sold on video yet, even though I am putting out this video series. I'm finding it a little bit longer to do, right? And that is the whole crux of the problem with video. I still love my audio first podcast, and that I can guarantee you right now is not going away. So you can definitely be sure that we'll be back on Tuesday with an audio only for you. And that podcast will be ready to go each Tuesday. All right. Until then, this has been another Podcast Basics, and hopefully gave you a little bit of insight on how I do my production, and maybe also gave you an idea of what production you might need for your podcast. So thanks so much for joining me today, where your voice flows, your business grows. I'm Kim Parkinson, and you've been listening to Podcasting for Your Spiritual Business. See you next week. Thank you so much for being here and spending this time with me today. If you're ready to deepen your visibility and grow your podcast in a way that feels aligned, come join my email list at kpcreativemedia.com/newsletter, where I share exclusive guidance, support, and next steps. And if this episode resonated, I'd be so honored if you left a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the most powerful ways to support the show and help other spiritual women discover it. Until next time, keep showing up and sharing your voice.